We welcome you to the panel 2 for the discussion of the smart metering for the Indian lessons. We will be inviting our chair on the desk, Shri Rahul Devedi, Executive Director, REC. Moderator for the session, Mr. Vikas Gaba, Partner and C&O Energy and Infra KPMG. Shri Anil Rawal, Chair of ISG Working Group on AMI and MD IntelliSmart Infrastructure. Shri Gajanan Kale, CEO TPDDL. Shri Ashish Tandon, Co-Chair of ISGF Working Group on AMI, Genus Power. Mr. Jaideep Singh, Advisory Strategy and Stakeholder Engagement, Radius Synergies International. Shri Dushyant Singh, Executive Vice Chair, SAN Kannauj. Shri Ramana Elchuri, Senior Vice President, Fluentgrid. Shri Sameer Ahmed Sheikh, CTO, Ripple Metering. Shri Gurpreet Singh Oberoi, CBO, Kimbal. I request our esteemed speakers to the dais. Now I request our moderator, Shri Vikas Gaba ji, to start the session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jaideep, and a very good afternoon to all. I know we are standing between lunch, so we will try to be very efficient. So a very warm welcome to all the panelists. Now, before we begin the panel discussion and invite the chair to make his presentation, just quickly mentioning that I think among the new technologies that we are seeing today, smart metering has gained significant prominence. And we have seen Government of India taking note of that. There is a full scheme RDSS, there is fund allocation, CA regulations have been modified and updated to accommodate smart meters. Standardized PPP structure has also been laid out. So there are a whole lot of positive things, and India probably is the only market in the world that is implementing smart metering at this scale and on PPP basis. So 220 million plus meters on PPP basis is a phenomenal scale. From a handful of players about 3-4 years back, today we have 61 AMI SPs and more than 100 supply chain players. And we can see long panels is a testimony of that, because there are players now interested in the area and there are vendors that have come out in the space. Now a lot more needs to still be done. There are issues we have spoken about. Only 10 to 12% of meters have been installed, and there is gap between installation and invoicing also because of various issues, delays in SAT, delays in go live process, integration issues, and so on and so forth. Customer engagement still remains work in progress. There are issues with even first financial sustainability of AMI SPs. When the meter months get delayed, when the projects get delayed, it does impact their financials as well. Communication issues, how to handle SOPs in the long run, how to dispose this static meter. There is a committee that has been formed on meter recycling. There are discussions going on in there as well. And there are opportunities now, whether it is utility related use cases, non-utility related use cases, how the larger piece of data and monetization can play. So I'm sure the panelists will be touching upon all of these. So without any delay, let me open it up to the panel and first invite the chair, Mr. Anil Rawal from IntelliSmart, to make his remarks presentation. IntelliSmart, as you know, is a leading smart metering solution provider and has been involved in the space right from the beginning. So over to you, Mr. Rawal.
Thanks a lot, Vikas. And I think Vikas has touched on the key areas extremely well, and he being engaged in this process from the very start, is aware how things have moved. What I'll try and do is go straight away to the issues. What are the current issues? Obviously, there is no doubt about the criticality of the program, and almost no doubt about the very good launch of the program. Proof is in the pudding in the sense that we have best of the investments coming in power distribution sector for the first time, the kind of energy we are seeing of the investors. Largest of the world investors are investing in smart metering program, and that itself is testimony of the fact that framework which was raised for the program has been successful, and for sure we are on the right track. And as Vikas said, this is one of the largest digitalization program at the consumer level in the world, and moving reasonably well. If you see the international experience so far, it has been that most of the countries where it's a democratic setup has taken more than 8 to 10 years to roll out the program. To that extent, I think we are very, very reasonably paced. So I'll try and touch upon that how to pace up it further without actually going into the need, because need is proven for all sorts of requirements of net zero, renewable integration, EV mission, solar rooftop, and obviously most important loss reduction program. This is very, very critical. Demand side management is extremely critical, and for that you need a smart grid. And smart grid is having the granular framework of smart meters. So that obviously is the fundamental backbone of energy transition in the country, along with the loss reduction. So criticality is well known. This is the status where we stand as country for about 280 million consumers in the country. Government targeted 250 million, and means 25 crore. I think it has been reasonably moving. Sanction has been great. Tenders have been floated to a large extent. Tenders have been awarded also to a large extent. The last part would look like a bit slower than required. We'll talk exactly on this. Rest of the things are very well in place. As I said, importance, as I said, in terms of the start, we are all well placed. But why this last figure is low is the question being asked today, and let's deliberate on this. Why it's being low, and having the background of commissioning first project in Assam quite in time. We did it ahead of time by about a month or so. That was the first RDSS project of smart metering. It was small in terms of 6.2 lakh meter, but it was done well in time. Why collectively as country we are not there where we should have been? That's the question, and I'll try and answer that, and try and elicit the opinion from the panelists as well as from the audience to discuss it more. So these are the challenges to, and these are the scaled ones. I'm saying there will be many more smaller ones. What is the broader picture I've tried to present is that you would have not heard of any large scale consumer awareness program in the way we hear for various other programs of the country, Swachh Bharat or Ujjwala, or you can think of any program you would have heard of large scale central program of awareness. We don't have, despite the fact this program is touching every household. If it touches 25 crore household, that basically means about more than 1 billion population is going to touch. But we still not have any large scale awareness program. That's one thing I'll deliberate more. Then there is milestone of SAT and operational go live, and we'll discuss that. Selective rollout is another issue. There is the issue of check meter installation, as there is some issue around the legacy billing systems and integrations. So there's a few issues which I would like to bring out in next 5 minutes. So first is that need for mass scale consumer awareness program. As I said, that this is extremely important program. There is no mass scale awareness unlike other programs, and we have been discussing this for some time, that we need to really foster the positive sentiments, instill trust in the consumer, and build confidence. Somehow we have not been able to do at the granular level or the base level of the grassroots level. That's first thing I think we need to do. And in addition, there is some amount of fallacy around it. It's generally presumed that awareness is to be carried out by the AMISP. AMISP, I'm sure you would know, is the Advanced Meter Infrastructure Service Provider. These are the agencies who are installing smart meters on ground on the PPP mode, like IntelliSmart or many more. So as Vikas referred, there were 61 AMISPs currently in the country. So it is RFP, basically I try to bring out the RFP clause. There is some amount of confusion that this awareness is the problem of the AMISP, because it's their contract, they have to run, so this is awareness to be done by the way. RFP, which is a bidding guideline, says that planning is to be done by the AMISP and implementation is to be done by the distribution company or the government. So that's the basic disconnect. While as AMISP go to consumer, you are not recognized that much as the consumer would look at the distribution company and recognize. So that's a massive gap, not only from the state government level, but from DISCOM level as the central level. We need to collectively push for a awareness program. That's one thing which actually is required for success of the program. I would request panelists to deliberate more on this. Then SAT and go live. What is SAT? SAT is system acceptance testing. It's a very critical milestone in the journey of this program. It basically says that once you first time do the meter installation, because there is a significant backend to the meter installation, which is the IT backend, you should test it. You should not go ahead without testing and getting the approval in terms of approve yourself, approve with the DISCOM, agree with DISCOM. That's the purpose, and that's the milestone of SAT. And for that, you have to install only 25,000 meters. Say if I have a contract of 2 crore meters in a distribution company, I have to install 25,000 meters to prove that my system is up to date. It's nicely built up. It is safe. Cyber security wise, it's good. It's getting out the data well. Communication is good. For that, one process is to run called SAT. And once I do that, post that ramp up has to happen. Now RFP says in 7 months you have to do SAT. Now in many states and many DISCOMs, at least 12, 13, 15 months have lapsed. We are struggling for the SAT. It's okay to be cautious, but then it seems to be overdone in terms of the caution. So because you are not doing SAT, the ramp up is not happening. Why ramp up of the meter is linked with SAT is not only that this is a testing of the system, but also your revenue don't flow to the AMISP till the time SAT is done and go live is accepted. So if you keep installing meters, you are consuming your money and you are just going and investing without getting any revenue, and it can continue for months together. So there is limit to which the AMISP would burn itself without getting revenue, and the lenders also have the precondition that if you don't get the go live, you don't get any funding. So where the money you get from is a challenge. So that's one of the biggest bottleneck in the system. Currently data shows that about across the country there is an average of 13 months that SATs are happening against the 7 months. That's a 6 months gap which has happened due to that particular issue. So that creates lots of revenue, cash flows issues, lender distrust on the system, and that actually is pushing back the program significantly, and hence no ramp up is happening. That's one of the reasons why you see 2.3 crore meters against awarded 16 crore already to the AMISPs. Selective rollout. Selective rollout, I meant to say somehow there was a approach, I would say rightly, wrongly, that government decided that let's go for the government meters first, new service connection first, distribution transformer meters first, selectively, while RFP did not envisage it. RFP said that you would have 20% of contiguous area to really install, because it was presumed that you will have 5 to 6 meter installation per gang per day. So that was the whole assumption. Once you have, there's no harm in doing selective, it's perfectly fine. But problem is that you don't get productivity. If you don't get productivity, the agencies, contractors to whom we are subcontracting the installation does not get interested in this, because that doesn't give the productivity and hence the speed doesn't come. So mass scale rollout is extremely important. A selective rollout is impacting the progress on the ground. That's in addition to the SAT issues which I discussed. And in some cases, for example, GTP approval, that's general issue, that approval issues and kind of lack of TAT on the approval issues are some of the issues which have caused kind of speed which is not conducive to the 25 crore kind of installation within a limited time period of 2 to 3 months. This is a mission mode project. In mission mode projects, each side has to be responsive. A distribution company has to be responsive in terms of number of days it takes to approve, and the AMISP has to be responsive in terms of the speed it has to pick. So there has been some amount of gap in terms of. Another is co-ownership. What I mean to say co-ownership is that when I go install meter in your house, you are all consumers, I am also consumer. If somebody comes to install meter in my house and the guy is some contractor guy or AMISP guy, versus there is some amount of communication and standby arrangement from distribution company. I'll tell you, there are certain areas in the country where program has been moving very fast, and all have one common thread, that DISCOM is standing on ground along with the AMISP. That's what I'm saying, the co-ownership. Wherever DISCOM has come out and stood with the AMISP to roll out, the speed has been extremely good. That's the co-ownership which actually, this is not the capex projects. These are not the kind of contractor projects that you have to install some poles or distribution transformer. These are the projects where you have to go and enter in every home. There's a trust buying. This is socio-economic change. It's not a technical change. The socio-economic change would require distribution company to stand with the MISP. That's some amount of gap where we need to do more work. Then there's a check meter issue. Incidentally, this is a very good innovation which has been done, that we would install the check meter along with the new meter, so that there's a general complaint, meter tez chalta hai. You would have heard, smart meter tez chalta hai. Then government decided that let's do this, let's install the check meter and the new meter, and then let them run parallelly for 3 months and see if there's any variance between the 2 meters. But unfortunately, what has happened in implementation, while this was implemented, the old meters which were earlier there in the consumer home were taken as check meter, and the new meters were asked to be matching to that. See, if old meter was so efficient and correct, then you would not require to change this. That's the major fallacy in this. So what has happened, it has created a counter impact. There will be always, both are class 1 meters. There will be always some amount of variance between the classes. The class category is same. The natural variance would be 2 to 3%. And comparing with the old meter, the new meter has caused some amount of pushback from the consumer as well as from the media. That's another thing to be re-looked at the approach side on the check meter. Then whatever data is being generated, you have a state-of-the-art now system of HES, great meters, HES, MDM, cloud applications, data going to the billing system. Incidentally, this program envisaged change from meter to the MDM. It did not envisage billing system to be part of it. The billing systems are all old. Whether they can take so much of data. Every 15 minutes, every meter is producing 1 data unit. So in a day, about 100 data units. Every day, 100 data units with so many meters going to the billing system. Whether billing systems are up to date on that, there's a significant gap there, which requires to be filled in, which is actually causing slow integration. And that's actually slowing down the progress. So these are the few things which I thought are important, which are pushing the speed slower and slower. Biggest of them, I think, is the SAT, Go Live. It's a very good step. It has to be done up properly, but overdoing it is causing the slow pace. We have to move fast. We have to rethink in terms of timelines. If 13 months on an average have passed on doing the SAT and Go Live, 27 months is the period. Whether in 14 months, crores and crores of meters can be installed. We push it so hard. And on the prepaid mode, consider the consumer has not paid for generations to anything to the electricity company. Now you're asking to pay prepaid. It's not easy. It's not easy. As I said, it's a socio-economic change. It has to be done with lots of caution and along with lots of efficiency, which I think we need to deliberate more, and I would request panelists and to discuss these things more and take it forward. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Rawal, for painting a comprehensive picture. In fact, I remember in some of the international reviews in California a long time back even in 2009, they brought out that this is not a technical change, but this is a socio-economic behavioral change that must, and at the core is the trust. Even when you say the delay in Go Live, the trust factor becomes very important with the utility, that believing that success of AMISP is my DISCOM success and shared success. So thank you for bringing those points. We will now go to Mr. Kale. Tata Power is, TPDDL is often talked about a very strong, successful turnaround story. So we would be keen to hear your story on this and the technology adoption curve. You have been through and through. Technology has been an important driver of this performance. Please.
Thank you, Vikas. So just I am going through the journey of TPDDL. So how we have started our journey in Tata Power Delhi. In 2012, we have started our journey with the smart grid roadmap, and subsequently we have also gone for the roadmap of communications part. So we have IT, OT communications. We have our own fiber optic cables networks we have laid across TPDDL area. Being a compact geography, we could lay that network of optic fiber there. Subsequently, we have gone for the phase rollout in TPDL. As Anup Kaur also mentioned in the morning session that in United States they are going for the phase rollout rather than going for the mass rollout. In India, the state level DISCOMs, they are going for the mass rollouts because RDSS is there, they have time bound implementations of this RDSS scheme. But in TPDDL, we have gone for the phase rollout. So phase rollouts and mass rollout has their own advantages and disadvantages. But in TPDDL, we could go for the phase rollout. And in the first phase, we have gone for the high revenue based customers and this key customer group. And government customers, we have installed the smart meters. Subsequently, we are going for the smaller consumers and all. So far, we have installed almost 25% of the smart meters in TPDDL. Subsequently, we are also improving our technology. We are going for NB-IoT smart meters. Then we are going for 4G smart meters. We are also doing a few of the innovations we are going for pre-installation and communication testing before installation of the smart meters at lab itself. And after doing the pre-testing only, we are installing the meters. We are also developing the universal NIC. We have also developed the universal NIC with the help of in coordination with Probus. We have developed this universal NIC. So we have introduced first time in TPDDL. If you see our AT&C loss reduction journey, though meter replacement is not only methodology to reduce the AT&C loss, but it has a significant impact in reduction of the AT&C losses. If you see this journey, when we have started this journey in 2002, so first in the first phase we have started replacing the electromechanical meter with electronics meters. We have started for AMR, automatic meter reading for the high-end customers. We have patented our AMR DA systems for multiple type of meters, bringing the data at one platform and doing the automatic reading, billing and delivering the bill to the customer. So that way we have patented this system long back in 2006. And we have introduced this smart meter journey. We have started our smart journey in 2017. So after 2017, even we have replaced almost 5.5 lakhs meters, and now this year onward we are replacing 2 lakhs meters almost per annum. And because the space is, we are keeping this space as low as possible because this is the capex we are spending through the approved regulatory system. So that way we are keeping our pace that way. If you see the Indian scenario, as Mr. Rawal has also mentioned, the total sanction under RDSS scheme is almost 22.3 crores of the meters, and we have awarded so far 13.80 crores of the awards. And if you see the progress is hardly 10%. So there are certain problems we are facing. Out of this 10%, even a few of the front runners are there, Bihar has done very well, even UP, Punjab, Maharashtra. So all these states has at least installed more than 10 lakhs of the meter. So other state has still lagging behind for implementation of the meters. And there are certain issues that Mr. Rawal was also mentioning how this AMI SP are facing the different issues at site and how we can further improve on that part. So that is the main challenge. So just I am quoting here few of the challenges in scaling up the AMI rollouts. So how it can be further rolled out. So there is a lack of infrastructure and non-readiness of the utilities for time-bound integrations part. So a lot of integration is required. For example, new connections are coming. For example, you are replacing the meter. So that should be integrated with the AMI. So otherwise, this AMI SP will not be able to know which meters is to be replaced, where meter to be replaced. So that way, a lot of integration is required. Supply chain issue, we know a lot of orders we have already placed for the vendors, and there are many more orders coming from the different DISCOMs, and they are not able to provide that material to the respective DISCOMs. Mr. Rawal already spoke about the site acceptance test and this go live issues. Distribution companies, they are actually creating a lot of delays in giving the go live and the this site acceptance clearances. So that way some solution should be provided to AMI SP, otherwise their payment will be delayed. Then resistance from the customer. So that is the biggest issue we are facing in India. You might have heard in Odisha, a few of the customers, they removed the meter and they throw out in the premises of the distribution companies. So that way, lot of resistance is coming, and we should, like some national level program should be initiated for like customer awareness part. Technical issues like training, for having a trained manpower, though AMI SPs are doing well, but subsequently distribution companies should also have like competency building like should be done for their own employees to take this system forward, like for the rectifications of the non-communicating meters and all. So that way we should also train our manpower. And 4G communication partners is also a big issue for DISCOM. So we have very limited 4G communication partners, like Airtel is there, Jio is there, I think BSNL has also started. So very limited partners are there for 4G communications. This interoperability challenge has almost resolved, so I will not speak on it. Prepaid versus postpaid dynamic is again a problem, because if you see the prepaid, if you take the examples of Delhi, in Delhi we have multiple slab for domestic customers. Again, subsidy is there. We are calculating, this smart meter is calculating on daily basis, on daily consumption basis. So one day customer will get subsidy, next day if the consumption is increases, he will not get subsidy. So that way a lot of confusion may create. So even in the Chintan Shivir, Mr. Pankaj Agrawal, he has mentioned and advised that in the first page we should go for the postpaid metering only, and subsequently we can always change the postpaid meter to like prepaid meters. So that way we should not create any confusion in the first phase, and we should go for the postpaid metering only. And subsequently the few of the government has also taken the initiative that all the government connections will be prepaid. So that way someone will take the initiative, government will take the initiative in a phased manner. We can always go for the postpaid to prepaid way. So that way we can also, and again this technology transition will also happen. So subsequently some technology will come, so that will calculate the exact and accurate billing systems will happen. So just wait for that technology to come, and then we can subsequently change these things to postpaid to prepaid. So these are some corrective actions I have suggested, like how this maturity of handling the meter orders by OEM. So I am not an expert in just giving any suggestion, but OEM can always work on it, like how they can handle these big orders they are getting from the different distribution companies. For the SAT and go live, so if even distribution companies, they can witness the SAT and go live, and they can clearly directly go give the clearance for it, rather than moving the file, and that file will run for the 4-5 months, and after 6 months AMSP will get the payment. So that way it is not practically feasible to run the system and they complete the task within a given period of RDSS scheme. Then effective deployment of the resources, coordinations. This coordination of the different stakeholders is a very important aspect. Like when the distribution companies are standing behind the AMSP, the government support is there, like consumer awareness programs the distribution companies and MOPs are running. So that way all the stakeholder coordination is very much required to make it successful. So this is the biggest challenge I have seen in rollout of this AMSP. Then cyber security, data analysis, and these new business cases are also there. I will not speak on it. OEM and supply alignment. In the interest of time, I will skip this slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kale. I think you've covered quite a bit of, deep dived into the issues. And one thing I really admire is the belief in technology through and through, that it will invest first, do the right thing, and it will show results as we move on. So now I think both the speakers have emphasized on various things. We will go deeper, coming to Jaideep now, into the more of customer aspects, which have been stressed upon significantly by both the previous speakers. So if you can talk about Radius's experience and also the customer engagement aspects of smart metering on that, Jaideep.
Thank you, Vikas. A very good morning or good afternoon to everybody. A warm welcome to my panelists and distinguished members of the government. Well, I stand in capacity here as an advisor to a company called Radius, and assisting them in their journey in providing IoT solutions to the power sector. So I'm very happy to hear and see that everybody is talking about interoperability and real time and the need for data and communication within the AMISP framework. So my basically presentation would be covering how we need to empower the AMISPs with the interoperability and real time. So primarily we'll quickly cover the role of the government, few testimonials, leveraging AI and ML in the solutions, overcoming these challenges, some new concepts about smart metering as a hub, and the way forward. So the ask from the utility for an AMISP is pretty huge. It talks about asset health checks, it talks about instant alerts, it talks about analytics and actions, but finally everything gets culminated into giving reliable power supply, reduction in ATMC losses, and finally a satisfied consumer. However, things that get neglected or are unaddressed are two important parts, which are interoperability and real-time data management. This is a slide that was presented yesterday in one of the seminars, so I picked it up. I've taken the liberty to put it into my presentation. It talks about the human body and a seamless communication within the body of all organs, and there is zero error in this communication. I think this is where we need to look into and take the same analogy into the AMISP framework. So we need a seamless distribution of data between the smart meter right up to the billing system. And none of these can be actually ignored. Now, I understand that the pain that Rawalji is going through and other AMISP is going through, but then you have to look at the utility. They want to ring-fence themselves from the perils of proprietary technology solutions, from large-scale field failures. They're very scared of field failures because ultimately they are the end users. Obsolescence of technology, because technology is moving at a very fast pace, so obsolescence can happen very quickly. Any business closures, so vendors could suddenly declare Chapter 11 and close. There could be complexities in inventory management. And now there's another issue where DISCOMs are offering packages and then finally giving orders to various AMISPs, and there are multiple DISCOMs in the same state. So interoperability within these DISCOMs has also become a critical area which needs to be addressed. There's also a loss of a centralized single state feeder monitoring system and a state consumer monitoring system. The government is looking at a feeder monitoring system at a national level, but at a state and at a consumer level, there is still no headway. So interoperability can be primarily categorized into two areas. One is at the system level and one is the device level. So we're talking about interoperability between the HSMDM, between two TSPs, between RF or cellular, between cloud migration, or even an ERP integration of different ERP users. At the device level, we're talking about a swappable NIC or a NIC card that can go from one meter to the other, so that there is interoperability in the system. Very interestingly, the Competition Commission of India also talks about interoperability. It talks also about real-time data access. And this is something that we must note. Now, how do we achieve this? There are three areas which I feel, or we feel, and we have worked upon. One could be where you just provide adapter modules, which are very specific to every meter manufacturer, and they kind of piggyback on the NIC card. The other is standardization in the size of the form factor and the pin configurations, which the BIS are already working upon, or just decouple the NIC and the meter manufacturing, because the meter manufacturers are basically experts in metrology. So just to elaborate, you have an adapter plate which has a male-female pin configuration, and this actually docks on to the NIC card. So each meter manufacturer can have an adapter plate, or the NIC manufacturer can have an adapter plate to go with the meter. The other portion for interoperability for communication is the dual SIM NIC card, and this is primarily important to see because there are poor signal strengths of TSPs available, and to overcome this and for seamless communication, I think it is important for a seamless switchover from one TSP to the other, so you have a dual SIM card in the NIC, and this ensures better SLAs. The other area of interoperability and communication is the NIC and the cellular card. So you could have either a cellular card switched to an RF card, or a hybrid which has a cellular and an RF both. So here we have a hybrid solution where you can go for a DCU-less architecture as well. And this, of course, gives you better mesh networks, and finally, again, the SLAs are able to be maintained. Coming to a press release recently from the Honorable Minister of Power, he also has very clearly in his press release mentioned real-time. And he's also mentioned real-time data from multiple sources, which means, again, interoperability. There's another published circular from the Ministry of Power, which was the roadmap for shifting from smart to smart prepaid metering. It was issued in August 2020, and here also it talks about real-time energy audits. So what I want to press here is that real-time is something that we need to work upon, look at, and look at more critically. Very interestingly, Outplan of Bihar, which was published by the Department of Economic Affairs, also talks about real-time and talks about real-time monitoring and revenue management. The policymakers who have issued the standard bidding documents, they talk about continuous online monitoring and logging of various parameters like voltage, current, etc., and also talk about continuous online monitoring and logging of events. So these can only be achieved if we are looking at data on a real-time basis. Similarly, in continuation to the SPD, they're talking about demand response from consumers. They're talking about real-time pricing, time of use, time of day. This will again necessitate the need for real-time data. I'd like to share some testimonials. And as Anilji had mentioned, IntelliSmart in their Assam project, they have been very successful. And they have talked about using AI and real-time in their systems. They've also spoken about demand response systems, which initiate the need of real-time. EDREC also mentioned in an article time of use and time of tariff, which again talks about real-time. MD APDCL similarly talks about real-time. MD CEO IntelliSmart, Anil Rawal ji, again in his article has also very clearly mentioned real-time. He also has mentioned very interestingly data granularity, and this I will cover in the next slide. And then you have Niti Aayog also talking about real-time and utilization of this data to solve very specific problems. So what exactly is real-time? It's nothing but a higher sampling rate, more number of data points. We go to the extent that we can give you sampling at almost less than 90 seconds on a live streaming basis. Primarily this fosters an environment for faster processing and computing, and which we call as the edge intelligence, which I will cover again in the coming slide. So when I'm talking about edge intelligence, I'm talking about distributed intelligence and distributed computing. And what I mean here is that it's a standard NIC card, and what I do is I add an independent controller to this NIC card and give it an AI and ML platform to work with. So this is edge intelligence. I'm moving some of the intelligence from the cloud, bringing it to the NIC. And this is freeing up some resources of the cloud. I'm not putting all the eggs in the basket in the cloud, and I'm doing some computing at the NIC level as well. So with this particular edge intelligence, I'm able to ensure that the meter is in the learning and the listening mode. It can offer you secure and stealth mode. It also has GPS and geo tag fencing facilities. Now, geo and tag fencing facilities, I would just like to touch upon specifically after the Palestine-Israel issue that happened, where your pagers were used as explosive devices. So improvised explosive devices, and since this meter is a communication device, you never know when it can be used. So you need something that will geotag and geofence this particular device. And that's why you have to have an intelligent NIC. Finally, I'd like to also mention to you that cybersecurity is the key issue today. And the only way to intervene and understand any anomalies in the system is with a continuous capture of data in real time. So we've seen in areas that there are people who have injected fake data of voltage, current, power factor. They have injected data for running and disconnect and connect commands. They've also cloned the telecom service network and even cloned UPIs for financial frauds. So if we are getting data in real time, we shall be able to ensure that we are intervening the system earlier on and being able to stop and prevent any disasters. I also spoke initially about the future smart home and how we are focusing towards it. So we've also displayed in our booth, and if people are interested, they can come and have a look, where we say that the smart meter is not only electricity, but it's water and gas as well. And there will be a time when all these services will get converged. It could either be an AMISP doing the same, or it could be a corporate who could be doing this business. The AMISP, if becomes a provider for electricity, can also be a provider for gas and water. And so the meter, electricity meter, becomes the hub with the other components as a scope, as a core. And these then communicate on a common platform, and you are able to communicate with all the devices in your house as well. So the interoperability between this, the communication between this, the data transfer between this, all will happen, and then you will have a centralized monitoring and control system. So I think the way forward, primarily what I feel is that we should adopt the best practices and technologies, and we should validate these before we adopt them. And this is the pain point where I think the AMISP is also facing, because each utility wants to validate it in spite of being an AMISP approved vendor. The utilities do have this issue that they want to validate every technology because they're going to do a mass scale rollout, and they do not want any mass failures in the field. I think we need to keep pace with AMI ML, and we need to weave this into the fabric of the power sector. We also, as policymakers, regulators, and DISCOMs, my request is please demand for interoperability and real time. Kindly safeguard the investments from the ills of obsolescence and ignorance. I think this is key, and this is again what probably the utilities are doing. We should all work towards the best outcomes for every rupee that we spend, because this is ex-checkers' money, it's hard-earned money, it's investors' money, it's the consumers' money. I think it needs to be protected. We need to promote the Make in India concept, and we need to make sure that all the RDSS schemes and other schemes of the government are successful. So my only hope and wish is that we should work towards the Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaideep, and emphasizing on interoperability as well as use of data for various applications, the basic as well as smart homes and other advanced applications as we move on. Let me now bring in Dushyant from Sayan Kanod, brings deep experience on communication technologies. If you can just stick to 3 to 4 minutes, Dushyant, please.
That's an interesting challenge, I understand. I'm just standing between the lunch and us, so yeah, I'll try to be quick. So just to quickly introduce myself and my company, I'm Dushyant Singh. I'm basically representing Sayan Kanod as a EVP. I look after the engineering department. As Sayan Kanod, we are mainly a communication solutions provider. RF is one of our strengths. We provide a range of RF solutions, and in addition, we do cellular as well. This is the footprint. Blue are the ones where we have already the installations done. Orange are the ones where these are in progress or yet to start. Nearly about 2.5 million RF nodes are already installed in the country, and we can proudly say that we have been able to achieve very good SLA rates for these installations. I think I'll quickly jump into the crux of the issues that are being discussed. So, challenges, I think the biggest issue which the esteemed panelists have already highlighted is that we are running way behind in terms of the installations. I mean, there is a 2-year extension, but given that we have just achieved 10% or 12% of the installation rates, it's a simple maths that we'll not be able to complete the rest of the installations in the next 2 years. The question is that if we learn from other geographies, then does that 2-year become a 5-year, or does that 2-year become another 10-year? Okay, so that's the risk I think that we have to really be aware of and control. And as a communication solutions provider, what we see as some of the challenges are that there is no one size fits all for a geography like India. Okay? Yes, we are an RF player, but we are not only an RF player. We promote various variants of RF. For example, long range, short range, in-meter gateway solutions, so that it can meet requirements of various types of topographies and geographies, whether it is sparse areas, whether it is rural areas, or apartment blocks with the metal boxes, etc. We ensure that the solution caters for multiple types of dwellings. Cellular is key for the infrastructure as well. Needless to say that it requires less planning, but however, I think the panelists in the previous session did emphasize that it still requires planning. Okay, we cannot assume that all of this traffic of smart meters will get reliably delivered with the communication technology that we have. As I think Jaideep talked about intelligence on the edge, we are a big proponent of that. Whether RF or cellular, there is need to be a very important component of having intelligence on the edge on the our communication modules, so that we can control the rate of data which gets transferred to the utility systems, and we can also control various type of failure points that can also exist in the solution. So having optimal communication technology is the key for the type of topography. And how to make it happen, there is a precursor to choosing that communication technology, which is having the right consumer data, having the right topography data to do the planning aspect. Okay, I mean, this is already been touched upon. The value of data is becoming more and more crucial in terms of the rollouts, and it's not only the information that is provided by the DISCOMs, but there is also a need to tap into other sources. I think there was a presentation in the previous panel about Google Earth data and some of the other third-party sources from where we can get this data, enrich it, and ensure better planning. I would even go to the extent of incentivizing customer, for giving the correct data. Okay, you can have consumer apps. We are all implemented as part of the AMISP, solutions and the programs. That is a great way. It's a socio-economic change. Why not bring consumer closer to that technology by the things that they already have? So yeah, incentivize consumers to provide the correct data or the information that is held in the utility systems. And then I think whether it is RF or cellular, at the last mile, there is still, even RF connects to a cellular network. So that's one of the key areas which we feel is also important. Addressing this is one of the more strategic areas, that ensuring that our cellular infrastructure is capable of meeting the demands. Most of the solutions that are being talked about in the industry are 4G, 4G with 2G, NB-IoT, etc. There is hardly a talk of 5G right now. Whilst in some of the other countries, the deployments have already started using the 5G network for smart meters. So ensuring that we are future-looking, we are future-proofing some of this infrastructure is also quite key. Now, whilst I talk about the challenges from our comms solution providers, this is a multifactorial problem. It is not that if we solve these comms problem, everything would be addressed. And the crucial part is one of the major issues already been touched upon is the lack of awareness of smart meters. We talked about, national level campaign, and Rawal ji talked about that. I was talking this to one of my marketing friends, and he immediately just threw a line which kind of stuck into my mind that जब phone smart है, TV smart है, तो meter क्यों नहीं smart है? So there are very simple ways in which the customers can be engaged by, trying to understand what this is. What is this box sitting behind the wall, and they don't understand. So bringing that awareness, a lot of countries like UK, for example, have done this awareness campaigns, and it has really helped in the adoption. Not only in terms of putting the meters on the wall, but more importantly, consumers actually trying to be more energy aware, how they can control their consumptions and how they can use the energy in the right way. Testing, I think there needs to be a much more robust testing regime. We talked about the challenges with SAT. We talked about various processes, a certain level of bureaucracy in the processes as well. I am a big advocate of technology. In today's day and age, we develop, for example, a lot of software. All of that testing and various activities associated with the software developments are automated and fairly transparent in terms of what is happening in our systems. So the data is out there in terms of how the systems are performing, how many meters are communicating, not communicating, and all. And a lot of this can be actually automated and digitized as well. So this is an area which does require more attention. We think technology can be used to solve this problem apart from the process dimensions as well. And then from a consumer point of view, one last point which we think is very important is until the consumer sees the value, it will not be, there will not be a buy-in. And the value comes, consumer doesn't understand kilowatt hour. They understand rupees. They understand in terms of money. And somewhere it's probably a policy level discussion that the consumers need to be incentivized to have the smart meters on the wall. It might be a bit of a bill on the exchequer in the short term, but in the longer run, I mean, we all know the benefits of smart meter and demand side management, etc., shaving the peak loads and all those kind of benefits. So in the long run, there is a very high possibility that that money will definitely come back to us. There are other dimensions which I'll not dwell into a lot. I think it's already been discussed, the issues with the DISCOMs and their IT systems and the approaches that need to be done there. AMISPs, I think these are some of the challenges that have also been identified. Just in the interest of time, I think the key thing that I want to summarize is that there is a definite need for a significant program of consumer engagement. There is a definite need for better planning, and in addition, there is a definite need for bringing our communication infrastructure more in line with the future demands that the country has, rather than looking backwards. That will be me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dushyant, and thank you for sharing your perspective. I will now bring Ramana Elchuri from Fluentgrid to share the SI perspective. I think in our pursuit, all of the presentations I'm seeing are very comprehensive. So if the overview part, if there is, let's move with that, and specific points, let's focus on that. That will be really efficient.
Sure.
Please.
So I'll try and do it over 5 minutes. 1 second. Yeah, so actually humbled and grounded to be part of such an analyst panel, and I think most of the points that I have shown here are probably covered by Mr. Rawal and other panelists. So I'll just in the interest of time, I'll just go through them quickly. From a implementation perspective, I've done about 8% of the entire rollout so far, which obviously means that there is a lot to learn, introspect, and make some course corrections. The system level or social problems that we see are, there is obviously political issues that are coming in the way in certain states. Consumer awareness and engagement, a lot of the panelists have already spoken about it, and there is a lot of resistance to prepaid. could we do more in terms of using mainstream media, social channels, and ground level reach outs to the customers? And at a utility level, we feel that deeper cross learning from states that have fared better is missing. So across the states, we could probably learn from states like Bihar and Assam that have probably fared better, and other states could learn from that. That's what we feel. And finance funding plan of AMISP gets disrupted due to uncertainties in the overall life cycle when the projects are getting executed. So from a technology and methodology related issues, what we see is that there is a lot of technology complexity involved and selection of the right solutions for rolling out programs of this scale. System integration often lag behind with multitude of solutions and technologies powering each AMISP projects. We actually see that a lot of solution providers are involved in each rollout of the project. So there obviously needs a strong system integration focus. Mr. Rawal spoke about SLAs and SLTs, which obviously need a relook. These have been drawn in the boardrooms, but do we need to actually learn from the actual deployment that are happening right now in terms of how stressful and how imperative some of the SLAs and SLTs to be managed? Skilled workforce availability is obviously a area that we need to look into, and I'll talk about briefly in the next few slides about a centralized visualization called Smart Metering Operations Center also, and standardization of smart metering field implementation app is missing, results in data inconsistency and delays in restoring semblance. Primarily utility to utility, these requirements may vary. So these are some of the thoughts that we had in terms of how technology related decisions to be made in order to improve the process for, improve the progress and speed up the rollouts. Some key considerations what we feel the AMI SPs probably need to look into are the, like on the product side, right? The product interoperability is very key. Like many of the panelists have already talked about it. We need to work with meter agnostic HES systems like Unified Identity System that can support multiple communication channels like GPRS, RF, and BIOD, and are able to integrate with several types of meter mix and so that the rollouts are naturally faster, right? And MDM integration is equally important with multiple identity systems. So it's all that, you know, once you get into an AMISP project, it's not that one provider is giving both the products like MDM and HES. You could be getting multiple players involved in doing both the things. So you could be looking at MDMs that are integrated with multiple identity systems and are already integrated with multiple billing systems also. Again, it's equally important that the products that we're talking about are cloud agnostic, scalable, and ability to use the platform services provided on the cloud. And yeah, obviously database and operating system agnostic is very important for the product's interoperability. For product capability, yes, we are also looking at a long-term provisioning of these products for almost 10 years now. So do these products have a long-term product roadmap in terms of integration with renewable rooftop, EV integrations, other integrations that might come in the future? So that level of open standards should be there in the product and should have a strong product roadmap, as a product capability. Product architecture should be built on service-oriented architectures, configurable, flexible, and designed to adopt changes seamlessly. And products that withstood test of time in multiple utilities and deployment, not just in India, but internationally, play a key role in these kind of deployments. System integrated capability, proven distribution sector, and domain experience of the SI is the key. Past experience of integration, MDM, HES with multiple utility system legacy products and solutions is equally important. So here I've tried to, the last two slides, I'm just trying to show a deployment of Smart Metering Operations Center. Essentially, this will help you to boost the deployments of smart meters in a quick fashion by actually monitoring the deployments by each field implementation agency, right? So you could have a real-time visualization, real-time situation intelligence and geospatial view to look at how swiftly the meters are being installed, what kind of issues the meter vendors are facing. So all these kinds of centralized smart metering reloads can be managed. And then beyond that, you could look at smart metering operations also, where the meter status, meter uptime, and meter monitoring beyond the guaranteed life, all kinds of features that could be extending the current NOMC that we have in place, that could be monitored from the NOMC. And I'm just showing a use case for Karama, where for almost 8 lakh meters, a similar SMOS has been implemented, where the meter operations are managed on a continuous basis with resolution as per the SLAs.
Thank you, Ramana. Let me now bring in Sameer Shaik from Ripple Metering. Please, if you can share your perspective.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today I thought I would share with you a real-time case study which we have been doing with the sector of market where we have installed close to 100,000 pieces of smart meters. And I would like to show you the challenges what we faced so that and how we have chosen the wireless technologies and people who are benefited out of it. So that's the agenda. So this is a segment of growth that is rapidly happening in India. Everyone knows this, like gated communities. So the gated communities, particularly, the millions of houses, they wanted to have an integration of particularly this gas, water, and electricity. Okay. These are the basic meters where they wanted to get the data and see what is their consumption patterns and have a basic billing process. Okay, so it is very surprised to see that when we meet these builders, the current scenarios what they have using for the billing, it will be a very interesting part. So if I take this as one of the case study among 100 different projects like this, you have different structures where these meters are installed. Okay, so if I show you part of that particular gas pipeline that is installed there, and then you have a meter there, right? So I need a network at that particular part. So how you create your network? Now, not only those kind of high rises, you have villa kind of structures where your RF planning or whatever network planning will be totally different. Okay. Now, if you see, the meters are sometimes are installed at the utility segment, and sometimes they are even installed at accessible positions like this. If it is a villa, it is you can see a meter. It is available at the doorsteps itself. Now, if I come to electricities, a typical installation is like every the high rise has the meters installed at the different shafts of the same floors. Okay, and all the meters are installed at a single place. So these are different ways where people are finding the meters are getting installed. And if I take the water meters also, they are spread across at a different positions like this. Okay, so now the builders have a big task. The consultants have a big task. I have to network these meters, get the data, right? So the typical solution what they are using is take a wire, connect all these particular wires together to a central BMS system, and then start doing a billing process. Now this is absolutely, if I take the anatomy of that particular building, it is wire. Okay, so now I'm not talking this as like it was a problem from last decade or something. This is a current existing problem what the builders are facing. Now they want some robust solution, easy to adapt, easy to install, easy to maintain. And all I'm asking is basic billing part, right? Today I'm living in the world where say that in summer I'm getting 5,000 rupees of bill. Like, I don't know why I'm getting, maybe I've switched on the ACs, right? So how do I get my daily consumption? Is it easy from this particular systems? That was the challenge. So what we have offered is a complete wireless solution where you take existing meters or brand new meters and install them at a place where you get a wireless network, okay, with all the technologies people are talking. I'm not talking something new. So we took this particular opportunity, which is a requirement in the market, and chosen one technology which was very easy to install with the facilities that is available. Okay, today people are talking about so many options, but can I pick it now? Because tomorrow I have to install. Now that is the challenge what we had. So in that particular case, the silicons comes into picture, the network devices comes into picture, team that is installing should be a challenge. All these particular things were there in front of us. So we adopted a ecosystem that I cannot just come and say that I'll give you the sophisticated and very smart NIC card. It will solve your problem. No. The builder will say, okay, fine. Where should I get the app from where the billing is happening? So you go to someone else. So it's a complex thing. So I have to give you a complete ecosystem. So what we have built is the gas, water, electricity ecosystem with a LoRa system where you have all the data stored in a cloud, and of course, access it from your mobile phones. So now, this is what we have done. So we have used a single gateway on a tower like this. This is a real-time project in Hyderabad. It's called ASBL, the ASBL Spire, and we have installed a gateway on the top. And this one gateway could able to provide the network in the deeper pockets of that particular building, because today's buildings are very ventilated. There is a good airflow. The designers are considering these smart meters also into picture, because they also need this particular thing to get to be part of this particular ecosystem, right? So that one single gateway is able to give you a network for gas, water, and electricity together. So like this, today we were able to successfully integrate close to 100,000 meters in this gated community segment, where we have a dedicated team that does the survey, install this thing. It takes a half a day for that installation. Now compared to the wide installation what they are doing currently, which takes months of time, huge wires infrastructure. Okay, we have just installed one single pole like this with a gateway, right? It's a simple installation. The team there, they go, all these devices are static devices. They are not moving, they are at a single place. So I have to just check whether the RSSI is good in that particular point or not. The best part of this entire thing is the network is in your control. Oh, I'm not getting the network at this position, bring a gateway, put it. Now today the problem is, I want the data. Okay, how to reduce my infrastructure? The cost of the infrastructure is my second part. The first part is giving the solution. So later doing a optimized networking, we can reduce the infrastructure cost also, because there are so many people they are talking. I was surprised to see people talking about the networking before even installation. We can see how the things can happen. In the morning, Madam EDX was saying, I was really curious about that. So if we integrate all these particular things together, I think that we can receive the data at a centralized HES. Okay, and you give a dashboard where you can do all your analytics, and a cost-effective solution can be done. Okay, so what Ripple is planning is to bring the gas, water, electricity, and along with all the other sensors to be part of this particular wireless ecosystem. Okay, so that's where we have chosen LoRa WAN as our wireless thing, as a the adaptability or the choosing. Today if I say I want a gateway, yes, there are multiple gateways available for me. Okay, do I have a device that is interoperable on this particular network? Yes, it is available for me. Do I have silicon chips available for it? Yes. So all the technologies, whatever we have in option, if it is ready to pick and use it, there is a real-time market which we have to address it immediately. Okay, so that's where the LoRa WAN has really given us the flexibility of installing our own private network and bring all the basic utilities into the network. And the beautiful part of this particular thing, since you are providing, you are the OEM of the devices, so you can schedule your devices when to push the data, so that the network jam or the data packets collision, all this can be avoided. Okay, so multiple OEMs, multiple things has to synchronize, do a time division slots, and then if you use this particular part of advantage, then I think the data packets should also be not an issue. And of course, it's not like today. It should be, as I said, interoperability. I should be able to change the gateways or any equipment of the ecosystem whenever I want. with the, of course, the sustainable. That's one thing which is epic in this real-time market, which LoRaWAN is providing us. And as I said, like this is the ecosystem because of which we are able to do the entire thing, like chipsets to modules to gateways to servers. And today, if you see, AWS has this IoT core where the LoRa devices can be integrated directly to the AWS core. So that's kind of programs which are helping us to pick the technology very easily. Okay. So if I conclude for the gated communities, and now to go ahead with the utility segment, where LoRa could be a very good option as because of this long range, low power consumption, cost factor, penetration if you do a good network planning, and of course the bidirectional communication. People are talking about prepaid and postpaid way of implementation, and of course the interoperability. So these are something what we have done. If you have any questions, we have a booth at 3 and 4. We can discuss on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sameer. Now, coming to Ashish, Tandon and Gurpreet, I am aware that you are not using a presentation, so taking a liberty to have a more open-ended question. We are at a critical juncture and you have heard all the speakers talk about issues. What do you think that right now we used to grapple with market opening? It is there, opportunities there, a lot of financier interest has also come in. What are the 2-3 important things we need to look at and resolve now, which will make this market a success and then pave way for more PPP options in the distribution? So Ashish followed by Gurpreet, please.
So good afternoon everyone, and it's a good news that while we're not standing between you and your lunch, we don't have a presentation to make. So as what Vikas asked, what are the couple of key things, most of the things Rawalji has covered, which can be looked upon, re-looked, to be done better going forward. If we see this journey, the A part is like, whether it all started in July 21, with the aim of March 26 to be completed, If we see today, the first order of RDSS was placed, the big order, 45 lakh meters were placed by Assam in April 23. And now thereafter we are saying about 13 crore meters have been placed, the order has been placed. So I will say the part A was quite okay, quite successful in part. If we see a mass rollout happening within 3-4 years and the orders of 13 crores have been placed out of more than 50%, I will give a 9 out of 10 on the part A. When we talk of part B, there's the execution part, whether we are going in the right direction. I will only give 4 out of 10. Now, we all are responsible for that. Now, what is the difference between part A and part B? The part A was well documented and was looked by all utilities from the same lens. If there is no BG, you will be out. If you don't put up a paper, you will be out. When we talk of the part B, which is like SAT, FAT, FFIT, everything, whatever the process part, every utility looks those papers, those documents in a different way, basically. The one thing is, yes, it is documented, so the GTB has to be signed, the legacy things, is not gone out of the mind. If they were talking about 20 tempers, today they are talking about 25 tempers, they will add few more things, Everything is an addition, without realizing that this is not a CAPEX order, it's not a CAPEX project, it's an OPEX. Your partner AMISP is not running out after giving you the meter. He will not close down the shop after 2 years just giving you a 10% BG. He will be with you for next 10 years. He is your partner, not a supplier, and you are not a buyer. The all money has been put up by AMSP, not a single money is put up by anybody else. That thought process has to come when we go to the part B. If you start looking at everything, tick in the box, you will take 15 days to sign a document. If you think that this partner is there for 10 days, you will sign in 2 minutes. If you think that this can be done next month also, you will sign in 2 minutes. But if I am a government official, I have to do my job and along with the PMAs, then definitely it's not now one customer, it's a 2 customer. One set of documents has to be signed by the utilities, the other set of documents has to be signed by PMA. Everybody has to do their job, fine. But at the end of the day, nobody is looking at what amount of money and effort MISP is put in by the time the first set is done. If we are talking of 12 months, 11 months, what Rawalji said, of 25K meter, 30K meters of we are putting as a set, by the time AMISP install lakhs of meters in the field, he is paying for the SIMs, he is paying for the manpower. While you are proving the first 25K and the GBS funding will come for first 25K, in the meantime, the huge amount of money has flown out to install few lakhs of meters. Because the AMI has to catch up with the 27 months. While he is losing in the first 12 or 13 months of the SAT, but he has to catch up in 27 months. So that sense of ownership, the collaboration between, the partnership between AMSP and the utilities or the DISCOM has to still to come. And the day it will come, I can assure you that if we are on the same side of the table, the 1 crore would have been 10 crore by now, or would have been 7 crore by now. The second part which I would like to touch upon what Vikas asked, what could have been done better? The standardization of these processes across the DISCOMs has to be done immediately. We cannot have 28, 29 different types of sets going on with a different lens being looked at every set, with every DISCOMs. Different set processes, FAT processes, FIT processes, it has to stop. If it is a one-page document, let it be 10-page document, no problem. But let that 10-page document be signed with everybody in one go and let it be given to MSP and let them work backward for a month, make sure with the MDM partner, with the installer, with the HES partner, with the meter supplier, that it is being delivered after 30 days. But after 30 days, please don't change the goalpost by adding another 10 things. If we keep on adding things, it becomes endless. And this is what is actually happening in the field, basically. So that collaboration, that mindset has to be done if we want to make this program successful. This is my 2 cents as you asked.
Thank you, Ashish ji. And I think cannot we agree more. I remember, if everybody knows EV Sridharan, who first started with DMRC, and we were doing a benchmarking exercise long time back. And I asked him what made this project successful in time. It was a tough project and it has been replicated. And he said, I believe that success of contractor is my success. So that shared success is important. So Gurpreet, maybe you can add.
See, a lot of things have been already told. We heard from the leaders of the AMISP, this thing from Mr. Rawal, that what are the challenges they are facing for the mass rollout of the smart meters across the country. Similarly, we are one of the OEM who has a 40% weightage what AMISP does on the ground. And we are also similarly facing the similar challenges what AMISP is, because if the value chain, as a part of a value chain, we get largely impacted. Huge investments have happened by AMISPs on the ground. Huge investments have happened by OEMs. If I call it, this is a journey which we had traveled for last 10 years. It began in 2014 with a very small pilot happening across the country, and all the OEMs deployed their technology, proved the proof of concept, and then they subsequently moved on. And in the significant manner, it started in 2021, 2022, where we could see the light of the scheme happening in a volumes which any OEM or any business associate will like to have it on their books. And as Ashish said, that the Part A was quite successful. It happened in a manner which the industry wanted. The SBD document was made, it was so nicely made that every aspect of the business was covered in that SBD document. The business have got decided on the ground, some 120 million, 130 million orders have been decided on various AMISPs, and in turn the OEMs have also got those orders. OEMs has developed their own capacity. They have increased multifold their capacity. They have also invested huge in this initiative. But because the slow implementation, that reciprocation to the industry is still not happening. We are just hoping that the things will happen in coming times, and the maths doesn't turn out to be same, because the sunset date is say March 26, maybe one and a half year, where we need to complete another 20 crores. which is just not possible. We may say that we might get extension from the Government of India on the contracts, but what about the business case which has been made, considering it will be deployed in 2 years or 3 years? The delay, what is happening in SAT is really killing to everyone in the value chain. 13 months, from 7 months to 13 months is really very frightening to any stakeholder in this value chain. Because we have developed the capacity, considering that how the market takeoff will happen. Now the problem statements are known. We have encountered multiple problems during this 10 years, and we came across those problems and we have crossed over. Now to large extent, now I come to the second part of Vijay, which is saying what 2-3 things we should do to improvise the current situation. The one, we call it SAT. Every month SAT, the system acceptance once has happened. It's like an ERP system working in our offices, and we cannot keep testing ERP every month. The system has been deployed, the due diligence have been done, it's over. It should not happen every month. And similarly, it goes with the FAT also. Like as a manufacturer, if I offer a meter of 100,000 meters to an AMISP, first I have to produce that 100,000 meters, wait for the inspector to come to my works, do the testing, which takes 4-5 days. And after that, 3-4 days to get the dispatch instructions. So the time which we are losing in the entire scenario is very high. So I would not say really out of box thinking, but some efficient measures need to be done where we can avoid SAT, we can avoid FAT once some minimum number of SAT is done or minimum number of FAT is done. And as Ashish said, there need to be a standard process which should be across all the states in the country. Every state has its own processes. One will call that we will visit factory to evaluate the vendor, one will do the vendor approval, one will do only the GTP approval, which would be. So the process goes from 1 day to 6 months for a vendor to get themselves approved by a utility. So these things we can shrink, and I'm sure as an industry we have crossed a lot of challenges. These are also challenges. They are not tomorrow when we will talk, this would be no more a challenge and we will be crossovering this thing. But these 2-3 things, if it happens, and the third, which I would bring it up, is the prepaid functionality. From day one, we don't need prepaid functionality. Let us deploy the system, let us saturate the system, and then we can convert the meters into prepaid functionality, then doing it from the day one. So these 3 things which comes is SAT, FAT, and prepaid functionality right now.
I think again, the first point you mentioned, it is about collaborative mindset, so that becomes important. I do have a long summary, but skipping it for the moment.
Just wanted to,
please.
One important thing I missed, is there's a real need of a country-wide consumer awareness program. We have discussed with MOP, we have discussed with other stakeholders. I mean, it's simple, You want to give something free to somebody. If he doesn't want to receive it, you will never be able to sell it. If I don't want to have a free smart Pvt in my house, nobody can force me to put it. So there will always be a resistance. Unless until there's a approach, there's a top-down approach in terms of conveying the benefits of the smart meter, like we are saying, mutual fund sahi hai, smart meter sahi hai. I've never heard a tagline like smart meter sahi hai. Mutual fund sahi hai, you see in the TV ads, many of us have gone through it and we have seen, yaar, ek baar check karke dekhte mutual fund kaisa hai. And it's a small ad, but nobody maybe, down in the tier B, tier C category cities, yaar, ye ad dekha na, ek baar dekhte isko. And they have invested money in that. But have you ever seen any program like, smart meter sahi hai? No. Have you ever told them, who is responsible for it? The nearest, I'm not saying everybody is responsible in the value chain, but the nearest companion of a consumer is DISCOM. They have handled the consumers for last 30, 40 years, and the consumer will only listen to the DISCOM, whether it is good or bad. Yes, we can join them, we can have the campaign, but unless it is something from the, overall comes from the ministry or from the other stakeholders, as okay, this is the right thing to do, and goes down through DISCOMs to the consumers, this start-stop will always keep on happening. Few areas, somebody will accept it, few can accept, few states, some of the consumers will not accept it. So this is one of the points I just wanted to touch.
Absolutely. Smart meter sahi hai. So on that note, let's end the session. Thank you to all the panelists for not only sharing deep perspectives, but also being time efficient. We have saved 10 minutes of the allocated time. And to all the audience for patient listening, enjoy your lunch. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for sharing your insightful and thoughts and the valuable contribution. It has been a great learning the aspects for the global as well as the international levels of lessons. Various inputs were counted. I hope that will make a point in the coming future for the smart meter. Now I would request Ms. Runasuri ma'am, Executive Director ISGF, to facilitate our speakers with the token of memento. Shri Anil Rawal, CEO and MD, IntelliSmart Infrastructure. Shri Gajanan Kale, CEO, TP-DDL. Shri Ashish Tandon, Genus. Shri Jaideep Singh, Advisor Strategy and Stakeholder Engagement, Radius Synergies International. Shri Dushyant Singh, Executive Vice Chair, Science Connaught. Shri Ramana Elchuri, Senior Vice President, Fluentgrid. Shri Sameer Ahmed Sheikh, CTO, Ripple Metering. Shri Gurpreet Singh Oberoi, CBO, Kimbal. Shri Vikas Gaba, Partner, C&O Energy and Infra, KPMG. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, I would also request the speakers for a group photo.